federal lawmakers are fighting back against President Trump's decision to declare a national emergency. An active shooter injures multiple people in Aurora, Illinois. And in sports, Ohio University's baseball team takes on the Wofford College Terriers in their season opener. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
I'm Steven Hernandez. Thank you for joining us. A national emergency has been declared in the United States. President Trump signed a bill funding the government, but he also declared a national emergency to get the money he needed to build the wall along the southern border. But even the president admits that process won't be easy. Kristen Holmes explains from Washington.
President Trump, unhappy with a bipartisan deal to fund the government, deciding to look for money elsewhere.
We want to stop drugs from coming into our country.
Congress authorized $1.375 billion to build a barrier along 55 miles of the southern border. The president signed that deal, but it's not enough.
Because we have an invasion of drugs, invasion of gangs, invasion of people, and it's unacceptable.
By a series of actions, including declaring a national emergency, the president is able to redirect more than $6 billion from federal funds, including the Defense and Treasury departments, giving President Trump more than $8 billion for a wall.
It's repulsive that a chicken hawk like President Trump would steal money from our troops, damage our military readiness, and undermine our national security, all in the name of going around Congress because he didn't get his way.
In a joint statement, Democratic leaders Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer called the move, quote, a power grab by a disappointed president who has gone outside the bounds of the law. As Democrats denounce the declaration and vow a fight, the president predicts a battle in the courts, which experts say could take years to resolve.
Sadly, we'll be sued, and sadly, it'll go through a process, and happily we'll win, I think.
In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes reporting.
The ACLU has already announced their plans to sue the president over his declaration. They're just one of the many legal battles the president could face as a result. A Lancaster woman accused of supplying large amounts of drugs to local dealers was taken to Fairfield County Jail yesterday. 39-year-old Jessica Morris is being accused of distributing drugs to over 20 people in Athens County, who intended to sell those drugs around the area. In a search of Morris's residence, authorities recovered approximately a quarter pound of suspected methamphetamine, approximately a quarter pound of heroin, and over $12,000 in cash. Morris was taken into custody Wednesday before being transported yesterday. Mike Bartram, a Meigs County Commissioner, will be departing from his position at the end of the month. Bartram submitted a written resignation last night at the county's weekly commissioner meeting. Bartram was formerly a tight end and long snapper for a number of teams in the National Football League. He is now leaving the county to return to football, but this time as an assistant tight end coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. After his resignation, Bartram received a gift from his fellow commissioners to commemorate his time serving for the community.
Good evening. I hope you're staying warm. It is only 39 degrees out, which is 10 degrees lower than it was yesterday, with humidity at 47%, which isn't too bad for the month of February, and winds west to northwest at 8 miles per hour. Taking a look at the regional map, we see that Athens is only at 39 degrees, with Columbus at 31, Marietta at 41, Ironton at 43, and Ripley at 45. We see that New Martinsville is also at 41, Cambridge at 36, and Newark at 32. Back to you, Stephen.
Thanks for the weather update, Mia, as always. Cuyahoga County officials are under fire yet again after authorities raid the county's offices. FBI and state investigators spent several hours yesterday searching Cuyahoga County's administrative offices. This is just the latest incident in the ongoing investigation into corruption in the county. Yesterday, investigators were searching for anything connecting Armand Budish, the county executive, to attempts to regionalize the Cuyahoga County Jail and privatize its medical services. They ended up taking Budish's cell phone number and a number of other items.
They carried out 5 boxes, and 2 computer hard drives.
Investigators have served 17 subpoenas to members of Buttigieg's administration through the past year, and three current and former employees of the county have been indicted since last month. A state trooper and 2 others are expected to recover after a semi-truck crashed into a patrol car yesterday. It happened on Interstate 77 while a state trooper was pulled over investigating a previous crash. The highway was closed until around 5 p.m., with traffic returning to normal after the cleanup. Officials are investigating the deaths of 3 men near a railroad tracks in Columbus. Officers found 1 person on the ground and 2 others inside a badly damaged SUV sitting on the railroad tracks. All 3 were pronounced dead at the scene. It's not clear how the 3 died or how the SUV was mangled. Police say investigators are certain the SUV wasn't struck by a train. Large amounts of money were seen on the ground and blowing through the air at the scene. Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine has created a task force to study changes to Ohio's arrest warrant system. There have been 300,000 open warrant cases in Ohio's 6 largest urban counties and 6 central Ohio suburban counties. This includes more than 23,000 warrants in cases involving violence or weapons. The task force will be prioritizing warrants for serious offenders and those with outstanding warrants. A sheriff's deputy is recovering after being set on fire while attempting to serve an arrest warrant last night. The unidentified suspect threw flammable liquid at the Roostowns deputy. Other deputies suffered smoke inhalation. The suspect, who hasn't been identified, was arrested at the scene, and the building where the deputy was serving the warrant caught on fire and was damaged. The injured deputy is being treated at the burn unit of an Akron hospital. Planned Parenthood is suing Ohio over a law banning one of the most common abortion methods. The law bans dilation and evacuation abortions. The lawsuit was filed Thursday in federal court in Cincinnati. Planned Parenthood says the procedure is the safest method after 15 weeks of pregnancy and the only method provided in outpatient facilities. The lawsuit asks a judge to stop the law from being enforced and to declare it unconstitutional. A bill that bans utility companies in Kentucky could pay less for the power they buy from people with solar panels. A bill in the Kentucky State House could let the Public Service Commission decide how much money utility companies pay residential customers for solar power. Critics worry it will hurt the small but growing solar power industry in Kentucky. Anyone with solar panels before the January 1st, 2020 effective date would be exempted from the law for the next 25 years. A new program is helping solve the West Virginia teacher shortage. Glenville State College's homegrown program will offer peer and professional mentoring, advising, scholarships, tutoring, and teaching experiences for students. The number of teacher vacancies in West Virginia has risen from more than 400 in 2016 to 700 in 2017. Areas of critical need include special education, math, early education, and science. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo wraps up his European tour. Also, an active shooter was arrested in Illinois today. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
An active shooter was arrested by local officials in Aurora, Illinois earlier this afternoon. 4 police officers and several civilians were injured, with at least 1 death as well, when an active shooter entered an industrial complex and began firing his weapon. One employee at the industrial park told reporters that he recognized the gunman as a co-worker. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo finished up his 5-nation tour of Europe today in Iceland, with a visit to some American troops. Pompeo first visited Iceland's capital city of Reykjavik to talk with officials about NATO security issues. After the meeting, he made a trip to the United States Navy Air Station in Keflavik. This was Pompeo's final stop on his European tour, and is heading back to the United States today. President Trump said today that Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has nominated him for a Nobel Peace Prize for his work in negotiating with North Korea. The announcement came during Trump's talk outside the White House, where he talked about declaring a national emergency to build a wall along the U.S.'s southern border. In his speech, Trump said his early meetings with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un were filled with, quote, fire and fury, but have since established a good relationship. Trump also says Prime Minister Abe gave him a copy of the letter he wrote nominating the president for the award. California is struggling to deal with unpredictable weather. That story is still ahead.
Coming up, we can see all of the weather in the regional area on my full forecast, but first, let's take a look at the stocks.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
This weekend, some winter weather is spreading from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic. And in California, even as the rain fades, heavy snow continues. Camilla Bernal has the latest.
Winter weather advisories are posted for the weekend in the Midwest.
From Rapid City all the way down to Oklahoma City and just north of Nashville.
Bitter cold air remains in place over the northern plains and Midwest, where wind chill advisories are already in effect. But in California, it's the rain that's been causing the most trouble, bringing flooding, washed out roads, and mudslides across the state. Forecasters say the storm system responsible for the rain is weakening and moving inland, but it leaves behind snow, power outages, and the threat of more mudslides.
It sounded like a fire, like I don't know, it was like a lot of wind, a lot of it sounded like a tornado kind of, but then I thought it was an earthquake.
California is currently vulnerable to flooding and mudslides because of a large number of devastating wildfires last year that left large areas of ground barren and unable to hold back the water. More than 30 million people are under flood or flash flood watches from California to Arizona. And in the mountains, snow will continue to fall across the Sierra Nevadas and in the central and northern Rockies over the weekend. I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Welcome back to Newswatch Weather Center. I'm forecaster Mia White, and let's take a look at what's coming up. We see for the rest of the weekend it's going to be cloudy and gloomy with showers coming in and consistent temperatures all around. Taking a look at right now, it is only 39 degrees, which isn't too bad for February, but the humidity is at 47%, which could be better, and winds west to northwest at 8 miles per hour. Taking a look at the general area, we see again Athens at 39, New Lexington at 34, Newark at 32, Ironton 43, Ripley 45. So the cooler temperatures up north and the warmer temperatures down south. Taking a look at the hour by hour, at 8 p.m. we can expect it to be 36 degrees, pretty cloudy along with the rest of the day. At 10 p.m. it's going to be 33 degrees, mainly clear. We see those clouds going away just a little bit. And at midnight, it'll be lowered down to 31 degrees with humidity at 65%, so pretty muggy out there. And taking a look at tonight's lows, we see that Athens at 24, so quite a drop from earlier today. New Lexington at 22, Jackson at 24, Ripley at 27, along with Ironton at 27, and Columbus, Newark, and Cambridge all at 21 degrees. Taking a look at tonight, again 24 degrees, cloudy, a little chilly again compared to today, with the wind slowing down to 4 miles per hour, still west to northwest. Taking a look at tomorrow hour by hour, we see at 8 a.m. it's going to be 25 degrees, partly cloudy, but the sun comes up at 10 a.m. at 29 degrees with the temperature rising just a little bit. And at 12 p.m. it'll be 34 degrees and clear skies. So as the day goes on, we can expect more sunshine and less clouds. For tomorrow, it's going to be 41 degrees, which is a little warmer than it was today. Partly cloudy, cooling down compared to earlier this week with winds 5 miles per hour north to northeast. Taking a look at the regional map for tomorrow, we see that the highs, Athens again at 41, Jackson at 42, Ironton and Ripley at 44, Columbus at 37, all around the lower 40s. Taking a look at the precipcast, we can see that there is not that much going on in Ohio at all, as the snow has basically moved out of our way. And taking a look at the 7-day forecast, we can see that tomorrow the high is going to be 40 degrees, along with Sunday but as tomorrow will be a little more sunny, Sunday we can expect rain with a 70% chance of that. As we move on to next week, we can expect the higher 30s on Monday and Tuesday at 38 and 39. Wednesday, 49 degrees with an 80% chance of rain, so quite a wet week coming up. Thursday, we see the high at 42 degrees. And Friday, it'll be 45 degrees, and we can expect some rain or snow, possibly freezing rain. And I hope you have a good week. Stay dry. Thank you.
Thanks, Mia. Valentine's Day candy sent 28 students at an Atlanta area middle school to the hospital yesterday. There's no word yet on what was inside the treats that made the kids sick. Dave Huddleston has the story.
People were like screaming down the hallway and stuff.
This Sandtown middle school student talking about what caused close to 30 of her classmates to get sick after eating Valentine's Day treats during the school lunch hour.
It was kind of scary because like this has never happened before, and I was wondering like if anything would happen to me.
My photographer and I were the first news crews on the scene. We talked with a parent who rushed to the school to pick up her daughter.
The school, they sent out a alert saying that something happened. They ate some type of snacks or something, I don't know.
Look at this from News Chopper 2. You can see paramedics loading a student into an ambulance. We saw several ambulances arriving on the scene. A Fulton County school official told me school officers are checking to see what caused the students to get sick and if it was intentional. And we were there when South Fulton City Councilwoman Catherine Rawl arrived to check on her daughter.
Our first priority is to make sure that they're safe.
And it sounds like that's what's going on.
Exactly. Everybody's jumped in and responded appropriately.
The police chief for the school system said they're still trying to figure out if this was intentional or an accident.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nick Mullins, and tonight we have an Ohio basketball team who has been reeling as of late. And on the other Ohio the women's team is looking to redeem themselves from earlier in the week. Up next on Newswatch. And thanks, and stay tuned to WOUB, and here's a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
A box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TVs play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back, I'm Nick Mullins. The Ohio men's basketball team have been losers of 4 straight heading into this weekend. The Bobcats, who have been reeling all season long, are set for a road trip to Mount Pleasant, Michigan to take on Central Michigan tomorrow. The Bobcats will get a chance to get back on track after a 3-day span of practice. The Chippewas are 16-8 overall and 5-6 over in MAC, and the tip-off is set for 4:30 p.m. While the men's basketball team is set for a road trip up north, the women's team is coming back to the Convo. After a 76-50 loss to Toledo on Wednesday, the Bobcats will be looking to get back on track on both sides of the ball tomorrow. Despite Ohio's loss, they still sit in an impressive record of 20-3. They will be looking to improve on that as they will be taking on Central Michigan tomorrow at 1 p.m. And the Ohio softball team, who has won 4-1 after one weekend of play, will be back in action this weekend. Tonight, the Bobcats are taking on South Carolina, and at this time of this update, South Carolina is winning 4-0 in the 6th inning. South Carolina entered this matchup as the 14th ranked team in the country in the NFCA coaches pool. The Bobcats will be led by MAC co-player of the week, Morgan Gino. She had a big performance in last weekend's games to lead the Bobcats to a 4-1 record. Tomorrow they will be looking continue in the Gamecock Invitational as they take the field against Greensboro at 10 a.m. and on Sunday they will cap off the weekend in a doubleheader. Game 1 is at 10 a.m. against Campbell before finishing up the weekend against Charlotte at 3 p.m. And you know it's just spring right around the corner when baseball is back. This weekend, Ohio baseball team begins the 2019 season with a 3-game road trip at Woodford on February 15th to the 17th in Spartansboro, South Carolina. At the time of this update, the Bobcats were down 2-0 in the 7th inning in the Game 1 of the series. Tomorrow, the Bobcats will take the field at 2 p.m. Tomorrow against Woodford, they will be back on Sunday and will wrap up the weekend trip and final series at 1 p.m. The two familiar names will be heading this team for another round of baseball. Coach Rob Smith, who is entering his 7th season as head coach and has taken the Ohio team to the NCAA championship twice in his span here. And the second familiar name is preseason All-American Rudy Rout, who won MAC Player of the Year last season. Despite the team's returning people, they were selected to 6th in the conference by the coach's preseason poll. And the Ohio wrestling team is on the road once again. The team sits at 6-5 overall and 4-2 in the MAC. Tonight, in just a few minutes, they will be taking on a 3-9 Bloomsburg team at Bloomsburg Nelson Fieldhouse. Then on Sunday, they will head to Armstrong. That will be the Bobcats' final Mid-American Conference match of the regular season. Ohio earlier this week had 3 wrestlers ranked in the top 20 for their respective weight classes. Senior Cam Kelly is ranked 16th, junior Zach Carson is ranked 28th, and sophomore Mario Gillen is ranked 19th. I'm Nick Mullins, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Nick. NBA fans may soon be able to purchase only one jersey to support their favorite team, with no need to decide on a favorite player. Commissioner Adam Silver showed off some of the new technology at the 2019 All-Star festivities in Charlotte, dubbing it the Jersey of the Future. Names and numbers on the jersey magically transform, allowing fans to show their support for various players without changing their shirts. Unfortunately, though, the jersey won't change your alliance when your beloved team loses a close game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Silver. Thank you very much.
Looking at tomorrow, it's only going to be 40 degrees, partly cloudy, cooling down from earlier this week. And for the weekend, we see that the temperatures are going down and getting cooler and cooler. I hope you have a good week, and back to you, Ben.
Thanks, Mia, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. I'm Steven Hernandez. Thanks for watching.